Welcome to the Fading Causes podcast. My name is Mukesh Kapila, and I have a very, very special guest today. Noella Coursaris Musunka is a fashion model. You may have come across her in glamour magazines, for example. But what's intriguing about her is how she turned her role as a fashion model into another sort of role model. She's won many humanitarian awards, has spoken at the UN General Assembly and the World Economic Forum. She's passionate about girls' education, about TB, HIV, and malaria, and so on. More on that later. But first, Noella, thank you for joining me. You have a mixed Cypriot and Congolese heritage. How has that fusion made you who you are?
It's a very interesting question because I was born in Congo. I left at 5 years old. I grew up between Belgium, Switzerland. I used to live in London, New York, Munich. So I think the experience of traveling, of experiencing new culture, new countries, adapting yourself in every country where you move in, with the food, with the people, with the language, it's what makes you. And you learn about abilities, about skills in any country you go, the mindset. And yeah, definitely. Traveling, living in different places shaped my mind and shape a lot of the personality that I am today and the drive that I have and the passion and the compassion.
Absolutely. You know, you and I have one thing in common. You have spoken movingly about how at the age of 5 you had to leave home because your father died. Your Congolese mother sent you away for education because she couldn't afford to educate you where you were in the Congo. And in my case, my mother and father, they sent me away to schooling in England, not because they couldn't afford to educate me in India, but because they thought I should have a better education. I mean, I was grateful for the opportunity and kind of benefited from it. But to be honest with you, I've always felt a little bit of a resentment being sent away. Now, in your case, it was a bit of more of a tragedy because your father died. But tell me, how do you feel about your mother?
I will tell you that I reflect a lot on the question you ask me because I reflect that the day I carry my son, the day I got pregnant, and when I gave birth to my son and I gave birth to my daughter. And I know what is the importance to have a mother and a father. My husband is an amazing father and really present and very doing everything with my children. And sometimes when I look at my two children, I had a wish to have a mother and a dad. I think it's priceless to have a mom and dad, to grow up with them and to have all the love. Yes, a lot of people can love you, but the love of your parents is it's very unique. And I do think that I missed that in my childhood. To be away of my mother, I didn't see her for 13 years, so it means I left at 5 years old. I came back to see her 13 years later. And it was a difficult relationship to build with my mother because she was like a stranger to me. Although I look a lot like her, I laugh the same way as her, and I deeply, deeply love her. And over the years, we built our relationship, and our relationships got even stronger through my children. But to live with people that not your mom and dad, it's not easy. It has been a lot of challenges. I had a very tough childhood, and emotionally, it took me a lot of time to pass this stage of my life. I'm very happy now, and when I reflect on that too, it must have been not easy for my mother too, you know. It's not by choice. She did that because she didn't have any better for me. She lost her husband, she lost the house. She wanted me to become someone and she gave me this opportunity to go to study abroad. But me, growing up with her for so many years, a part of her, I was angry with her. I was like, why did she send me away? Because you don't understand the power of education when you're still 6, 7, 8, 9 years old.
And is that a reason why you are so passionate about education nowadays?
Yes, I will say it has to be linked with my story, definitely. But it's linked too because I see the potential of Africa. I see the young new generation. If we give them the skills, if we give them the education, the platform, Africa is now and is the future.
But why just girls' education?
It's not about only girls' education. You know, we know through the statistic of UNESCO reported that over 33 million of girls of primary and lower secondary school age were out of school. But people think Malaika is just a school for girls. We are an ecosystem that have built and lead a school for 430 girls. They arrive from 5 years old until 18 years old. We provide them nutrition meals, breakfast, lunch, the latest tech classes from AI, coding, web construction, Python, etc. They know better than me. Application, how to use application on tablets. They have an incredible laboratory. And we got already two graduations that been happen at Malaika School. So every year a graduation happen at when they're 18 years old, another class enter at 5 years old. Most of the students went to the university path and some of them professional path. But if you look at the ecosystem of Malaika, is this incredible school where we keep continuing updating the curriculum of the school, keep training, upskill the teachers, skills. But then beside that, we have built more than 31 wells that impacting 35,000 lives all around villages in the Congo. Then we have built a vocational center and community center where we have 5,000 youth and adults coming to study at our center. It comprises young boys, young girls, fathers, mothers. They come to learn literacy classes, digital classes, art, dance. They come to do the gym, the sport, and we have all the vocational skills that we're teaching where they have to enroll for 1 year minimum. They have enrolling mechanic, electricity, carpentry, drawing. We give them skills and they are able after that to look for job, or we have some companies that even come to recruit at our center. Then we have the agricultural field and education where we grow our own food. We go back to the canteen of the school and where we teach about organic farming. And we use the sport as a social development and we to tackle awareness about Women's Day, about malaria, about HIV, conflict, about empowerment. We have some of the children that's been chosen for the national team, for the U17 and the U15. So it's not just a girls' school. Our center, vocational center, is as important as our school.
The reason I kind of reacted and said, what have you got against boys? But of course, you haven't.
And I have a boy. I'm a mother of a boy, so my son remind me every day to do things for
Absolutely.
boys.
No, the reason is that I remember visiting Afghanistan when I was a British government donor. I was in the Foreign Office responsible for aid to Afghanistan. And many Afghan women, mothers, said to me, look, it's great you're interested in the literacy and education of Afghan girls, but please do something for our boys because not having decent education for boys turned them into the Taliban and into all sorts of other misbehaviors. You're doing amazing things at Malacca. But tell me, how sustainable is your model? Uh, can it be replicated in other parts of the world, in Africa or beyond?
We have created a blueprint tool guide how organization can duplicate the ecosystem that we've created. It took us more than 15 years to put together the entire ecosystem. And we have some organization contacting us, how did you start? So it's the reason I wanted to put this blueprint with our team. It's not easy, first of all, to work in a Congo, in a conflict country, and where there's a lot of destabilization. It's not easy to run a project for so many years. Now it's been 17 years. You have a lot of success stories, an amazing impact, but you have a lot of challenges. You have to be very intuitive how to build a community inclusive model because you need to understand the needs of the community and you need to work with them. What works in Congo might not work in Pakistan or in India or in Argentina or in Brazil. So he has to be working with the community, and he has to be working too with the environment. And you have to understand well too the diplomacy and the politic dynamic of the country. We won't duplicate it, Malaika, but we will help other organizations if they want to duplicate. I volunteer with my 100% of my heart and my passion, Malaika. I don't take any salary, but to have built what is Malaika today and to run Malaika, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of difficulties in the world that is constantly evolving and changing. So you have to fundraise, you have to lead the team, you have to manage, you have to make sure that the student, when they finish Malaika school, they can go to university. So you have to keep fundraising for the higher education. I think I did my part for the world by giving back. And I feel that sometimes it's better to invest in quality than quantity.
Indeed, no, absolutely. And you are doing amazing things. I've been reading up about Malacca, and I think it sounds like a not just a school, it's a very happy and productive place to launch a young person onto their future life. And nothing can be more sacred than that. But tell me, I've been to Congo. I went to the eastern border with Rwanda and Burundi in the Rwanda genocide. And I can tell you, I've traveled many parts of the world and gone to many war zones. But I was quite frightened when I went to Eastern Congo. You know, you're familiar with Congo, and it's not out of its troubles now, unfortunately. Do you think resources that Congo has, natural resources, is a blessing or a curse?
It's a blessing and it's a curse at the same time. But the biggest wealth of the Congo, it's the people, it's the individual, it's the influence that each person can have in the country. And we need to take conscience of that and make it happen. Congo, we can talk about all these minerals from gold, diamond, cobalt, coltan, lithium, etc. One of the biggest rainforests, river, and it's incredible all the resources that Congo has. But let's invest in our children. Let's invest in education. Let's invest in infrastructure. Let's invest in the technology. Let's invest in the stability and in the peace. Peace is so important. Without the peace and with all this conflict that even the last few months we have been having in the Congo, we cannot build a nation. We cannot build a nation on fear. That fleeing their village every month, every 2 months, there is a lack of food, of where they're staying. When you see the condition of all these children in the east, where they're staying, how they're fleeing, the malnutrition, the illness, the lack of access of water, lack access that they cannot be even in school. That's something we need to fight for.
Now, you've met many leaders. You've spoken at the World Economic Forum, you've spoken at the UN General Assembly, and you're familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals, and you have interacted with politicians and social influencers and such like. What's your impressions speaking in Davos or in New York or in Geneva when you address this fora of people and leaders from around the world? What are you thinking, and what sort of reactions do you get?
I think they're very impressed with the model that Malaika really put into in Congo and how it's very protected and holistic by the community. I sit on a few boards on the L'Oreal Fund for Women. Ahmad is the foundation led by the Princess Caroline of Monaco, the Segal Family Foundation, etc. And all the board that I'm sitting, they all working in countries where there's an underdevelopment, where there is conflict, and we all pushing, and I'm pushing. First of all, as a foundation, I push a lot of organization to give multi-year grant to organizations all over the world. Secondly, one of my main point is we have to influence the policy to have peace and development in the countries and leaders that really inspire and are impacting.
But do you think our leaders, global leaders, national leaders, are doing enough?
No, they can do more. But the problem, there's so many domestic problems too in their own country. So it's not the international affairs are so big issues. And now They own, every country has their own problems. I live in England. There's so many problems. Now, it's very complicated now to lead the world without being successful and leading your own community and your own country.
Are we expecting too much from our leaders? Do you think that people are kind of just waiting to be saved and not taking their own responsibilities in their communities?
I think we need to take our own responsibility in our community and where do we live and really influence and play a big part of it. The corporate world, the private sector, the politics, the individual, family foundation, all of them has to be more gathering around a round table and how we can tackle the challenges of the world. But you cannot function without the government, without the public sector, without the private sector, without the family foundation, without the non-profit world. It's a wall. And without the individuality of the people and the drive.
Now, your personal story is actually a masterclass in resilience. Despite your complicated upbringing, you managed to rise above it and created opportunities for yourself. You became a fashion model and you used that to leverage doing good for the world. Let's talk a little bit about resilience in adversity. When you see your kids back in the Congo and you listen to their stories of the communities they come from, what are your thoughts about how resilience reinforces the capacity to survive and thrive beyond whatever nature and luck has thrown at you?
You know, the resilience is the survival instinct that they have every day. They wake up every day, they have to find water, food, find a little job, have a little money to feed their kids. For me, this is when I see how they're juggling every day to survive, this is something very powerful and the resilience that they have. To see the mother walking 45 minutes to fetch the water and still with a smile and dignity on her face. It's just beautiful. And I'm so proud with our team that we were able to build more than 30 wells. And instead of seeing people walking 1 hour or going to fetch water or fetching water in dirty river, they can now walk 15 or 20 minutes and they have access to clean water. For me, the resilience is this father that believed when we started to build Malaika School for girls, that he gave us his trust to give us their daughter, that give us the trust to make them understand, don't pick up your daughter at 12 or 13 years old to make her married and going pregnant. Let her become someone at the school. And we're seeing the trajectory of the girls that arriving at 5 to 18, not being pregnant, not being married. Now they're in second year of university. I see Josiane, one of the students at Malaika School, 5 years old until 18 years old. Now she got a full scholarship um, in India, actually, in Pune. And she's in second year of university and she's the best student in her class. She's the first graduated of a family in the Congo. And it's just so beautiful. I saw Maman Flavie being an amazing mother that came to the literacy classes at Malaika School. And then after that, she learned sewing classes and now she runs the sewing classes at our center. And she has beside a workshop where she does design clothes for the locals and she can earn her own money. She doesn't have to worry every day how she's going to feed the kids. She has her own business. And we teach that at the center about skills, about entrepreneurship, about independence financially. And it's just beautiful to see growing this community and this powerful woman that having a place in our society.
We cannot forget our humanity.
One human being, one planet.
And humanity starts with us and our communities. I think that's a very good note on which to finish this enlightening conversation. Noella, thank you for joining me on Fading Causes, and I hope we will meet again.